Hello everyone, my name's Leo with SuperTech. So today, finally I had some time on my hands to actually be able to record a video so that I can go ahead and edit it and of course upload to my YouTube channel. I've been pretty busy. I don't know if you see all these consoles I currently have open that I'm waiting parts for. I've got two Xbox Series X and I'm waiting on the video encoder chips to actually arrive so I could put them on there. Outside of that, I received this console today from a customer. I'm not sure exactly where he shipped it from. The shipping box is back there. This console, basically the issue is that he wants me to go ahead and let me go ahead and read exactly what the ticket says here. It says no signal and retimer chip replaced, hoping the ESD bypass works. So I did receive this. A customer contacted me via YouTube and he asked if I can go ahead and complete a bypass, a booster chip IC bypass, which I will give credit to the person that did the initial, I'm guessing you could say schema, that he created the schema. He's from somewhere in Brazil, I believe. His name is TX. I'll have to look it up and actually put his link in the description below because I do not fully remember his YouTube name. But he created this schema, which is the bypass we're about to do on this actual console. He also sent this letter, the person that actually sent me this console. And let me make sure that I blur out if it shows on there and also block his address. He also sent these $10. Basically, it says on here, I hope you can get it working by doing the ESD bypass. I have sent it out twice and both said it's a no fix. I came across your video on the YouTube searching the problem with a no video after the retimer chip replaced. I am not looking for a warranty or for it to be in 4K. More curious on the fix. So he did not request to actually record a video, but I'm gonna go ahead and record a video. And here at the bottom, it does say PS, get some coffee on me, and he included this $10. Of course, he didn't have to do that. Thank you very much for the actual gesture and the $10 as well. That being said, we're gonna go ahead and get this console completely out of the packaging, we're going to validate if in fact the symptoms that he has basically stated, that it turns on, or at least what I believe would be the symptoms based on what he described, the customer described. Basically that the console turns on, but there's no display due to a bad ESD booster chip. So first things first, what I'm going to do is actually test, and I'm going to put this to the side because I'll be using the same packing to send it back. I'm going to go ahead and validate if in fact the console turns on. And if it turns on, it's just no display, then yeah, we can definitely do a bypass. That would not be a problem. We will go from there. So normally what I like to do when I start diagnosing a console, and of course it depends, and before I plugged it in, let me look at the HDMI just to make sure we don't have any shortages going on here within the USB ports and or the HDMI ports. They look to be good. Visually they look good, the HDMI ports along with the USB ports. Look one more in here, which is the front one. That one also looks to be good as well. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and plug in the HDMI port as well as power cable. Power cable's not going in there properly. Why is that? It's not making connection, I don't believe. It's not going in there correctly. Alright, so I've got it in. Let's see what it does actually. So I've got the power cable plugged in, HDMI cable plugged in. Let's go ahead and press the power button. Okay, I do see that it's turning on right there. And I am also looking at the behavior that my HDMI tester would give. So you can see, now on screen it doesn't look like it, but only one light's on, which is this one here. And of course the ones at the top. The ones up at the top are the signals from the TV coming into the tester. The ones I'm more interested in is these here. So these are the data, basically data lines here. This is also a data line, but that one's lit up. That's the only one that's on. 5-volt rail is off, and these two are also off as well. So that tells me, in fact, that yeah, we do have an issue with the console. He did state as well that the retimer chip has been replaced. My guess would be twice. We will validate if in fact it has been replaced, because sometimes some people, I had a customer last week that he stated that he took it to a repair shop and they told him that they replaced the retimer chip, but the retimer chip was never replaced. And how did I know that? I knew that because you can normally tell when work's been done on the retimer area. And also the solder that was on the actual retimer chip was still the lead-free solder. So the heat amount that it took to remove the retimer chip was normally twice the amount. Normally people don't tend to put lead-free solder back on the chip. And also, even though you clean it very well, you can still tell some, and I mean like a tiny bit of flux residue still stays behind. And in this case, for the customer previous, there was no flux residue at all whatsoever. So let's see what they've actually attempted to do with this console. What I'm going to do is, and I'm not going to put you through the whole taking apart the console, because I'm sure you've seen several of my videos where I take it apart and I do a time lapse towards the end. So what I'm going to do is just take the console completely apart and get back to you once I actually have the board here on my workstation. Other than that, please enjoy my intro and I'll get back to you here shortly. Thank you. Alrighty, so we've got the actual, I was going to say logic board, but this is not a logic board. This is the actual PCB board, motherboard, however you want to call it, here on my desk. And now I'm going to go ahead and get my microscope, and we're going to view in this area here where the retimer chip is at, which is right there. And this is the ESD booster chip right over here. And we're going to validate, of course, to see if in fact the retimer chip has been replaced. So let's go ahead and get on our microscope and we'll go from there. Alrighty, so I do see that work has been done on this board, more so on the HDMI port area. Let me zoom out just a tad bit here, and let me clear my camera. Okay, so I do see that some work was actually done here in the HDMI port area. I see some flux residue right in this area over here. I see some flux residue right there. But when I get to the retimer chip, let me zoom in just a tad bit here and clear this out. I don't know about y'all, but I don't see that any work was actually done in this section of the retimer. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't. It's a possibility that they did and they just cleaned it very well. I also see here in the center that it was, I don't know if you guys are able to see that right there. Right there. It was pushed down, of course, to be able to get the excess solder down. A lot of the times, 9 times out of 10, that's not going to cause anything. But I would like to try one thing real quick before I even start messing with this ESD booster chip. I'm going to replace myself as well, just to confirm and validate the retimer chip first, and see if in fact that'll fix or resolve the problem. If it doesn't, then we'll go ahead and do the bypass, removing the ESD booster chip, and going from there. We're gonna go ahead and remove this ESD booster chip. Make sure that all the traces are actually there, since they have worked on this before. We're gonna validate that all the traces are there, and then we're gonna put a brand new retimer chip. So let's go ahead and get that going now. All right, so that retimer chip was fairly easy to remove. So they did, in fact, replace the retimer chip. Let me go ahead and clean this up real quick just to validate that all the traces are there. We're going to go ahead and add some flux. Alrighty, so we went ahead and prepped the actual section of the retimer chip. And I'm sorry that it doesn't look as cleared for you guys. Let me go ahead and get something here so that it's clear. Alrighty, so we went ahead and got this section prepped for the retimer chip. So we're going to go ahead and start putting in the new retimer chip. And then we're going to test to see if we still don't have a display. So let me go ahead and grab one right now. I'm actually running low on these. I have 5 left right after this. And I've already placed an order with DigiKey, which there is a 35-week wait, but I placed my order back in February, so is it 35 weeks or I don't remember. So I need to place another order, possibly with AliExpress as well, just in case, to be on the safe side. So we're gonna go ahead and add, and before I do that, let me just inspect these pins. They seem to all be there. I don't see any broken traces at all. No broken traces. Yeah, all the traces seem to be there. So let's go ahead and grab the chip and actually put it on. Now the orientation of the chip, this is the dot right here. So pin number 1 is there. So we got to look for the dot on the chip, which is right there, upside down. So before I put the chip down though, let me start heating up this actual board. Come on, I'm having a hard time grabbing hold of it because the flux already holding it down. So I'm gonna go ahead and start heating it down, and then I'll go ahead and put the chip down. Alright, extra solder is out. Let's go ahead and clean these pins out. Before I do that though, let's go ahead and add some flux to this. Alrighty, so we went ahead and replaced the retimer chip off of this console, which is one of the easiest. Well, not want to say one of the easiest, but for someone that's experienced, of course, this could be an easy process. Validating, make sure that the pins are actually touching with the actual chips, which they definitely are. And the chip, it's not too far to the right or too far to the left, so the chip is actually good. So before I actually put it together, I'm also going to test the hard drive real quick. Normally I tend to test the hard drive first, but in this scenario, because I read the ticket, I decided to skip this step. But I'm going to go back to the step right now, and actually check the hard drive real quick to make sure that the hard drive is actually good. Some people know this, some people do not know this, but sometimes a bad hard drive can actually cause a no display issue as well. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the actual optical drive right now from the actual caddy, and we're going to test the hard drive to see what percentage it actually shows to be before we plug the console together. Alright, I've got my Unitech here. It's a device I tend to use. Well, one of the devices. I got a caddy back there as well, and I've got one in my garage for walk-in customers. Alrighty, so we're gonna go ahead and turn this on. Now let me go ahead and get to the screen before I turn it on. That way we will see if in fact it'll come on. So we're gonna open it up. The software I use, different technicians use different softwares. The software I use is called Hard Disk Sentinel. I do have the Pro version, which is the paid version. And I use that for data recovery as well. Sometimes I tend to offer data recovery if it's not too difficult. So let's go ahead and change scenes real quick, and we're gonna validate if this hard drive comes up and what percentage health it actually shows to be as well. I just heard a beep on my laptop. I don't show it coming up though on the screen. There it is. Alright, so it is at 100%, so it is definitely not the actual hard drive. Hard drive looks to be in good condition. Nothing wrong with the actual hard drive. Look at the partitions. Not partitions, but all there we go. The sectors, that's what I meant. The sectors off the hard drive. So the sectors, they all look to be good as well for this particular hard drive. All right, so the hard drive is good. Let me go ahead and eject and put the hard drive together. Let's go ahead and start checking these filters. So I am going to get into continuity mode. The reason why I'm getting into continuity mode is because I just want to test between the actual filters end to end, and also from across from each other as well, just to make sure and validate that these filters are not shorted. Okay, there we go. Okay, so these are the filters here. I'm going to check across from each other. That one's ground. Okay. That's ground. You'll be able to tell if they're touching each other with these, so what I'm going to do is check to see if any of them are grounded. So I've got my red probe on ground over here. And then do the other one as well. I don't touch the center because center is ground. Okay, filters are good actually. Let me also check the HDMI port. Make sure none of them are bridged. Let me get you a better angle. Okay, so we just tested, and I'm sorry you had a bad view. We tested the filters, make sure none of them were actually shorted by checking, putting one of the probes on ground, and then checking, not the center, because center it's ground, checking each one of these, and making sure none of them are actually grounded, and also to make sure that there is continuity going across from each other. Now we're going to check to make sure there's no bridges between these here. Do we have a bridge here? Huh? Okay, what are we touching here? Okay, so that's ground. Ground shouldn't be... This is grounded. Okay. There we go. That's our problem. You see this line here? It's going here. It is grounded, and that should not be grounded at all. That's not ground. We keep checking though. We check these other lines to make sure they're not grounded. Okay, that's a ground line either way. So this one goes to the ESD Booster Chip. These go to the ESD Booster Chip as well. Those are good. This one's the only one. And that one goes to the ESD Booster Chip. So this line here, it's the one that's currently shorted. Let's check for ground on the capacitors. Yep. Capacitors are grounded. Well, this one is. So this capacitor here, it's definitely grounded. So let me go ahead and reflow this chip real quick before we actually take it apart. We're going to lower our heat temperature though. We don't want to overheat it. So I'm going to lower it from 845 to 760 Fahrenheit. Now let's go ahead and reflow this chip. There we go. It's reflowed. We're gonna let it cool off a little bit. And actually, while it's cooling off, let me see if this one capacitor still tests short. It's still testing short. I wonder if the chip itself is bad. I wonder if doing a reball on that ESD booster chip would do anything. Doesn't hurt to try. I'm just letting it cool off a little bit before I decide to just take it off completely. I want to check to see if this pin here, which is 18, 17, 16, 15, 14 pin. Pin 13. It's still grounded. Looks like it's probably grounded with this capacitor, this line with that line. So it's still grounded. Let's go ahead and just take it off. And then we're going to do a reball. So we're going to go ahead and clear these solder balls from here. I believe they're 0.25 solder balls. We're going to clean them off of this chip, and then we're going to manually put them on there. Alrighty, that is cleaned, and let's go ahead and clean this up with some IPA. Now I am seeing something here. I don't know if it's if it's to be alarming, but I don't know if you guys can see this black spot right over here. That's not good. I don't know what that is. I'm not sure what that is. I'm trying to see here real quick. Yeah, I think it's bad. It's a bad chip. Let me get a little bit closer real quick. I believe that's actually our problem. Yeah, that shouldn't be like that. So we're gonna skip the reflowing of this actual chip because this chip is actually bad. So we're just gonna go ahead and do the bypass as the customer requested. Let's go ahead and get the board ready. Now, one of the things I'm gonna do before I actually start with the bypass is we're gonna test to see if pin number 13 is still shorted. And it's not, which is here. This pin here with this here somehow were touching each other. That was causing this being to be short and this pin 13 to be short. So let's go ahead and add some flux to this, and we're gonna clean this up real quick. Alrighty, so I had to go ahead and grab the image that I'm going to be using. Now, I will give credit to where I actually found this. Apparently there's a founder, and there's where I actually got the information from. I didn't know this person had created the actual schema and or the actual founder of this bypass of the booster chip. I received a message from this person randomly a couple of days ago, actually, saying that, you know, funny how some of us creators use this bypass but don't give him credit. I did reply to him very, very, very nicely, as nicely as I could. I don't tend or try to bite off of anyone's work, but more so actually learn off of others. So of course I follow all these channels, you know, from iPad Rehab, Northridge Fix, the Coder. There's several others that I follow. Those are just the ones I know off the top of my head. I watch Tronics Fix, STS Telecom, who else? Andrew Paul, Electronics Repair, Paul Daniels. So I could keep going down the list, but there are several people that, and mostly English speaking. If you're not English speaking, I don't stop at your channel because I won't understand the word you're saying. So if you don't speak any English at all whatsoever, I'm not going to be subscribing to that channel because I don't know or have a clue what that person's saying at all whatsoever. So my apologies, and I mean no offense if I don't follow that specific channel if they don't speak any English at all whatsoever, or Spanish, because those are the only two languages that I know. But I will give credit to this person now, where if he says that he's his founder. So this person I'm referring to is called TXD Games. You guys can actually look him up on YouTube. He messaged me basically saying that he is the founder of the bypass. So I'm giving him credit, but I will also like to mention where I actually found this from. So one of the videos I was watching was the Coder. He was streaming it, and he showed a picture of the bypass, which I took a screenshot off of, and I went ahead and translated that screenshot to what you're seeing on the screen. That's how I'm going to be running the actual wires themselves. What you see on the screen, it's basically how I am going to run the wires to complete the bypass for the booster chip. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and proceed with this bypass booster chip. I don't like drama. So if you're bringing drama to my channel, please just stay out of it because I completely hate drama. I know with being a creator, drama comes with it. I don't like it. If you found it, more power to you. My apologies if I didn't give you credit. Didn't give you credit because I had no clue that was you. Other than that, let's go ahead and proceed. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my wire. So the wire I'm using here, it's nothing too crazy. I'm using this wire here. It's enameled wire. I did buy this off of Amazon. I don't know what the size of it is, but this is what I tend to be using. It doesn't have any information on here besides the name. BN Tech Go, that's all it says on there. BN Tech Go, no size or anything, enameled wire. And this is what I'm going to end up using right now. So I've already prepped this section of the board right over here. And let's go ahead and complete this bypass. So I've got the schematic here on my screen. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in real quick because I want to make sure that I'm able to see this properly. So we're going to start with pin 19. Pin 19 has different pins that I need to connect. So basically it needs to go from, if you're seeing that on the screen, it goes from pin 19, which is right over here. And then from there goes to that pin. It goes to this pin right over here. We skip this pin, and then it goes to this pin here. And then it goes to this pin right there. I don't believe that pin is one of them. I believe that pin is actually skipped, and that's a good thing that I have enameled wire, because with having enameled wire, you could definitely just go over it. Now, one of the things I'm gonna end up doing right now actually is just putting possibly some conformal coating on that pin if it's not going to be used. But let me validate and make sure if in fact that is the case. I'm opening up the file here on my end. Okay, so yes, that is the case. That one is skipped. So I'm going to go ahead and put some conformal coating on that one pin. I definitely don't want to, even though it's enameled, don't want to touch it. So I'm just going to put a tad bit of an amount of conformal coating on that one specific pin. So normally what I tend to do, I get my conformal coating and then I get another tweezer here to get the conformal coating off of my tweezer to put where I need it to go. So I got the conformal coating and I need to just block that there. There we go. And I may have gotten way too much. I'm gonna leave it there just in case I need it. Let me see, what else do I need to block here? Is there anything else? I think everything else is gonna be okay. Yes, everything else is okay. So I'm not sure if you guys actually see that yellow pin in the center. That yellow pin, I'm using the actual capacitor to run that trace so that I don't have overlapping wires going across. And I'll explain it here in a little bit. So let's go ahead and get this started here. So we're gonna run our first wire. And I'm gonna add some flux here on my mat because I have to tin these wires. So I'm gonna put some flux there. Okay, that is hard. Let's go ahead and run the wire. So what I'm gonna do is actually just get some flux on my tip and then get a little bit of solder on my tip. Okay, got a little bit of solder. Got the wire. Let's go ahead and run it. So we're gonna put this wire on pin number 19. Which pin number 19? You see the number 19 right there. It'll be the first wire. Let's add some flux. Let's add some flux right over here as well. Okay. All right, so we've got that taken care of. Next, we're gonna do is gonna be the. And did I tack down to the right one? No, I did not. I did not. Don't know why I thought that, why I did that in the first place. Okay, that end was wrong. It actually goes down to that one right over here. My apologies, I was looking at this wrong. Right there. Let me cut this extra piece over here. We don't want it touching over there. There we go. So I almost did it completely wrong. So the only two pieces that should be touching are this one here, that one, and this one. So that one here. So we're going to validate one more time, make sure we didn't lose connection between this end and the wire. We did not. And then we need to test this pin here. Not that other pin I had scraped a little bit off of. Okay. This test. Yep, we're good. And then the rest of the wire is good. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and tag down the yellow wire. That should be easy enough. Let me make sure that I tin the wire. Okay, wire's tinted. Let's add some flux. Okay, we're going to add some flux here. Okay. We're going to add a little bit more solder to this. There you go. And then I'm going to route the wire. Now I want to skip that point right there. So I'm going to route it that way to skip. And I'm going to solder it right there. There we go. Now this wire is a bit long on this section right over here. So we're going to cut that piece. Make sure we don't leave any wires way too long. Okay. That's that. All right, let's go ahead and test to make sure that it's properly soldered. So it should be this point here to that. That's awesome. Let's make sure we're not touching anything else. That point with that point. Nope. Nope. Okay, cool. So we got the yellow. Let's go ahead and remove it from here. Okay, we've got yellow. Let's go ahead and get blue. From U21, well, it says C21, but I'm not sure which one's U21, honestly. So it'll be from that point to this point, the trace that's being followed, actually. There's a trace already going there. Why do we have to do that one? That trace is already there. I'm checking my document here. Actually, I am wrong. From there to there. Okay, yeah, I'm wrong. I'm glad I didn't cut it. So it goes from that point to this point right over here. Alrighty. We got that one. Let's check continuity. Okay, also between that and that. Yep. Awesome. So we got that one. And then the next one, it is, it'll be purple, which of course you're not seeing the colors. So purple goes from this end all the way to this end. Now let's clean this up. Got to remove the flux, or else it's not gonna not the thermal, but the what what is it called? The confirmer coating. It's not gonna dry up properly on there and can cause problems and issues. So trying to remove all the flux off of here. And then we're going to test right now to make sure we don't have anything touching that's not supposed to touch. I believe we've got it. Let me just make sure. That's one wire, two wires, three, four. 4 wires total. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4. Let's just do some checking real quick just to make sure one more time. Using continuity. So I've got my multimeter set to continuity. So these should only be touching the capacitor with the resistor. Resistor to the capacitor. Nothing else. Nope. And this one shouldn't touch anything else. Okay. Not shorted. Pin 13 not shorted. Nope. And this one should not be touching this. It's not. And this should be touching this. Okay, and it is. This is pin 19. Okay. And it is. And then here to here. Nothing else. Nope. Alrighty. We've got it. Let's go ahead and test to see if we will see a display. So I'll get back with you right now as soon as we have the console put together just enough to test. We've got it put together again, just enough to test. Let's go ahead and plug in the HDMI cable. And of course our power cable. And let's try this one more time. Come on, stay. I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm nervous right now. Okay, staying on, fan spinning. My tester's not showing up, but I do see that the screen is showing. It looks like the tester's not going to show because, of course, we're bypassing it, so it's not going to show the other 2 data lines. But I am seeing screen. I am seeing the actual display. Let me grab a controller real quick. Looks like somebody reset this already. See, the console design is automatically shut down to protect insufficient ventilation. Oh, because it overheated because I didn't have the that on. But someone did completely do a factory reset on this console. It was not me. As you can tell, I just not turned it on. Oh yeah, it was not me, so I don't know if I should get this configured fully for the customer, but yeah, console it's fixed and repaired. Let's go ahead and put some conformal coating on the actual wires. We do not want to leave them exposed, So put some confirmer coating. I am also going to remove the current thermal paste and put some fresh thermal paste. Put the console back together right afterwards and test again. So let me go ahead and get to doing that. So we're going to start with the actual pin 19 and work our way down. There we go. Now let's go ahead and cure the conformer coating. Before we do that, just clean out the tweezers. Alrighty, so we've got this cured already. We went ahead and got it completely cured. I'm just gonna go ahead and do some minor cleaning here to see whatever excess conformer coating comes off. Other than that, this will be protected and also it will not move. So let's go ahead and put the console together enough to test one last time, and we'll go from there. So let's grab our thermal paste. I use MX4 thermal compound. Get this off of Amazon. I do have a link in my description for that. I also have a link for this tool here, which if you're in the repair business, I do suggest you actually have it, which helps you with removing the actual X clamp when taking the console apart. Alright, let's go ahead and put the heat sink on here. Alrighty, so we've got the console put together just enough to be able to test now. Let's go ahead and plug in the HDMI cable along with the power cable, and we will test one last time. Same results there. I do see the 5 volts. We're not going to see the data lines. Whenever the bypass is done, the data lines do not appear. I found out just a few minutes ago. Let's press the power button and let's see if it'll show a display after putting the conformer coating on. It should show the display. There hasn't been any change at all. So there it is. That is exactly what we were looking for. Xbox One. So now we can go ahead and put this console fully back together. Other than that, this console is completely done. For the customer that actually sent the console, thank you very much as well. Thank you for the $10 you sent. You know, you did say for a coffee. Thank you very much. For future viewers that decide they want to bring or send, not bring, but send their consoles over to me. It is not a requirement for you to, of course, send me any additional income, but if you were to send me a tip, I honestly do appreciate it. It's, I don't know, it's a blessing. Other than that, thank you very much. Do me a favor, go ahead and hit the like button on this video. Don't forget also smash that subscribe button on my YouTube video as well. I'd appreciate it if you did that. It actually helps out the channel, and it also boosts my morale to be able to create more content, record more videos, and actually upload to my YouTube channel. Once again, thank you very much, and I'll be seeing you on my next video. Thanks everyone. Peace and God bless. I'll be seeing you once again on my next video. Later guys and gals.